Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everybody is having a fantastic Sunday so far. Let's see who we have in the live stream today. We have Nebraska. We have Jonathan, Edits, Weather Tracker, Caden. Let's see, Ben, Jim. Glad to see you guys. Glad to see you guys in here for another live stream. Hopefully everybody is having a fantastic day, like I said. And yeah, I did forget one thing, which is to open Radar Mega. So there we go. I'll open that. Okay. All right. We can switch on over to our main scene here. I want to go ahead and talk about this severe weather threat that we are going to be seeing very, very late tonight. So here's our risk for severe weather. This is what we're dealing with today. We've got a very large marginal risk in place. That's a level 1 out of 5. For severe weather right in this dark green area. That includes areas like Clean, Texas, Campwood, that general area, Fredericksburg, Llano. You guys are all inside that marginal risk for severe weather. We also have like Kermit inside that marginal risk, Lubbock, Texas. You guys are in that marginal. And then we have that slight risk, the yellow area. That's a 2 out of 5 for severe weather. That includes areas like Norman, Oklahoma, down here towards Midland and Odessa, Texas, all the way towards Junction, Texas, and as far east as Decatur. I don't know how you say it out here in Texas. That's in Texas as well. Then we have that last one, the newest risk, which was just introduced here earlier on today, about 3 p.m. I think it was 3 p.m. Eastern when this was introduced, literally right as my video went out today. They introduced that enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5 for severe weather. That includes Lawton, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Texas, Seymour, Texas, Abilene, Texas. You guys are in that level 3 out of 5 for severe weather. Let's go over the probabilities. They've changed just a bit from the video earlier today and quite a bit from yesterday. You can see the 5% chance for tornadoes is very large now. We've got that 5% chance going all the way up to Norman, Oklahoma, as well as El Reno in the southwest side of the OKC metro area. That goes through Lawton, Oklahoma, Snyder, Wichita Falls, Texas, all the way through here in Big Springs, Texas, San Angelo, Midland, Texas, and Odessa, Texas. Glad to see you in here, LWX24, and everyone else who is also watching may not be chatting. Glad to have you in here as well. I know I kind of dove into it a little fast. But yeah, there's your tornado risk there. Wind threat, that's the thing that's changed the most here. We now have a hatched area. This is for the potential of 80 to potentially up to 90-mile-per-hour winds out here in the Lawton area, Wichita Falls, Seymour, Abilene. You guys are all in that risk. Personally, I don't think we'll get over 80-mile-per-hour winds with this risk, but that enhanced risk is for the potential of around 80-mile-per-hour winds. And still no hail threat, but I do think we could see some isolated large hail up to about an inch in diameter somewhere in this general area when those storms first fire off. Then as we go into tomorrow, we've got a very, very large marginal risk. This almost includes 30 million people in this level 1 out of 5 for severe weather. And then we also have that level 2 slight risk for severe weather as well. Tornadoes are going to be a very real possibility. They did expand that 2% tornado risk all the way into Mississippi and Louisiana at the 1730Z update, which I believe is 1:30 p.m. So that 2% does go into Mississippi now, which before I believe it ended. I believe it ended like right in southwestern central kind of Louisiana. So they expanded that more eastward. And then we have that 5% chance as well for tornadoes. And then if we go to the wind threat here, you can see we have a 15% chance for damaging winds there as well. And the hail threat is present tomorrow. We've got a 5% chance. So definitely not as big of a threat tomorrow. I think tomorrow's main threat will be in the very early morning hours up until about 10-11 a.m. Eastern. After about 10-11 a.m. Eastern, our threat's going to decrease rapidly, and we probably won't be seeing much severe weather for tomorrow. All right, I do want to close this tab out here, and I want to bring you guys over to the HRRR model run. So this is the HRRR model run. Your new one's rendering in now. We'll go to your slightly older one. Man, I keep forgetting to fix this scene right here. There's something I need to add to it. But here is your weather models here. This is your HRRR 21Z. And watch this line here. You're going to have to really keep an eye on it. I need to zoom out a little more. There we go. That's good. So as we go towards like 4 a.m., about 4 or 5 a.m. Eastern, it's a little difficult to tell if you're not really looking at it. But there's individual embedded supercells in this line that is actually quite easy to pick out here on your HRRR model, especially if we go further out in this. It's very easy to depict some supercells that are going to try to fire up tomorrow on that northern edge of your line for severe weather. I do believe this could go 10 sig. I think we could see a 10 sig tornado risk introduced with this risk for severe weather. If we do see that 10 sig tornado risk, it's definitely going to be in this area right in here. If they do pull that trigger, it will definitely be on the more northeastern side of the 5% chance for tornadoes. So even if they don't, I do still believe that we could see an isolated strong tornado or two as we go very late tonight into early tomorrow morning. We're really going to be talking about early tomorrow. Really not much will happen tonight. If we go all the way through, this is going to be midnight right here, and you can see that line is ongoing according to the HRRR. So we'll see how fast these storms fire up or not. They could fire as soon as 8 p.m. Eastern, which is just about 2 hours from now. They could already be firing. So we'll see if that happens or not. I don't know about a 10%. I feel like if they're going to go enhanced for tornadoes, it's going to be significant. Because I'm not sure if you didn't know this, but a lower level jet widespread of 60 to 70 knots is definitely going to be able to favor a significant tornado threat. So I do think if we get an enhanced risk, we're going to see a hatched enhanced risk, at least in terms of the tornado threat. Now, we already have an enhanced risk for severe weather. It's for damaging winds. Yes, I was live. If May 21st was a severe weather risk, I was live. Unless I had something really interrupted planned there on that day. But yeah, here's your enhanced risk for wind right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they literally, that enhanced risk, the enhanced that's in place, I wouldn't be shocked if they put a 10 sig in like that exact area where they have the wind risk. Like exactly where that enhanced risk is. I wouldn't be shocked if they put a 10 sig exactly where that is. But I don't know. There might be too much of a lacklustering here in terms of your thermodynamics. Um, but I don't know, the northern side there, you could see it. It clears out pretty quick. I mean, this is a pretty good sign right there. You got a very obvious good warm sector there. I would really not be surprised if we see a strong tornado threat right out in front of that. Even if they don't go 10 sig, I still wouldn't be surprised if we see a strong tornado threat. Here's the NAM model for its tornado ingredients. You can see it. It has gracious day. It has a 7 or 8 supercell composite there. No, not really for prefrontals. I think it would be for more of embedded supercells in the line. Your line further south should weaken rapidly, which should allow for a more semi-discrete mode as you go from about 4 a.m. or so till 9 a.m. or so Eastern time, right out in this area here. The HRRR's depicted that for a while. This is 18Z, 19Z, it has it, 20Z, it has it, 21Z, it has it, 22Z. That's rendering in now. That is rendering in right now. I mean, you got to also remember, we've had, earlier this year, we had a risk that had, like, literally 200 instability, and it produced, strong tornadoes in southwestern Oklahoma. I forgot what day that was, but we saw it. There was, like, barely any instability. Hello, Brian. Glad to see you in here. PlayStation, Oversteer. Is Fort Worth getting a strong tornado? I can't say that you will see one, but Fort Worth is inside the risk for a tornado being a possibility. Very late tonight into tomorrow morning, specifically tomorrow morning. It'll be in the risk for a strong tornado based on the models and model data we have right now. I think the potential strong tornado threat will be more off to your north and east. Let's see here. Let me quickly... Don't know why my browser source up there, look at that top right College of Do page, for some reason went down there. I had to go refresh the cache on those. Oh well. Let's see here. Welcome, Catman. Glad to see you finally in a stream. I mean, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you in here. So we're going to see what the 22Z HRRR has, but it's a lot messier there already. Also, instability, I believe, is still slightly overperforming here. I mean, I really would not be shocked to see a strong tornado threat on the north side here. That's only if this can go correctly here. If we see too much convection further north, that strong tornado threat's completely gone. So it's a very conditional strong tornado threat. I don't know if it's widespread enough to warrant a 10 sig now that I think of it. Now that I think of it, it's not like a notable strong tornado threat. You know, it's really... It's going to fully depend off of that storm mode on the northern side, as well as your how much precipitation you end up seeing more north. So I don't know if it's actually going to be enough to warrant a SIG risk. Yeah, Mark. You know, that's a good call. Is there enhanced instability around 6 to 10 a.m.? I mean, instability, it's a very low instability setup here. You know, we only have about 500 to 700 instability in that main enhanced risk for severe weather tomorrow morning. So it's low instability, high wind shear. Look at most unstable. I mean, even most unstable, you're still barely even getting to 1,000. But that's not, that's still very favorable. 1,000 instability is actually very favorable in this wind sheared environment. Very, very sheared environment. Look at the wind shear. Look at that. This is your 0 to 3 kilometers, so you don't have any issues with wind shear. I appreciate you guys being in here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. Again, here is your risk for severe weather. I'll show you that categorical risk. This is valid until about 7 a.m. Eastern. So after 7 a.m. Eastern, it switches on over to this outlook here. So it both of our outlooks, it's a poor timing there because your main risk for tornadoes is going to be from about 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. So that's right when, your SPC outlook switches at about, what did I say, 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central. But yeah, quite a large risk for severe weather. We do have that hatched risk for damaging winds. That's for the potential of 80 plus mile per hour winds in and around the Wichita Falls area. If I go and switch you over to, we can actually just do the HRRR here. Your 21Z HRRR model, look at that. And see, that's what I was talking about. Look at that. This is a much easier way to see it. See how you can pick out some semi-discrete storms in this line, embedded supercells, I should say. You can pick out some areas of embedded supercells along the line. And this is 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And you can see it even continues till 10 a.m. nearing Tulsa, and then it dies out right as it nears Catman. Because he's a mod on the channel. If he wasn't a mod, he'd probably end up with something. Let's see the 22Z here. Yeah, that's still rendering in. That's getting pretty far now. This is all the way till 7 a.m. Eastern. And it did uptrend a bit already with your supercell composite there. It uptrended right back with your environment. It might be too messy. It just might be way too messy for a strong tornado threat. If it's less messy tomorrow morning, if you have more of what looks like a line here and pretty much no rain out in front of it, that's going to be where you have a strong tornado threat. But if it ends up with a lot of convection out in front, then that's going to limit instability even further, which will just completely destroy your strong tornado threat. Regardless, we're going to end up with a couple spin-up tornadoes very, very late tonight, tomorrow morning as well. We're going to end up with damaging winds around 80 miles per hour. And we could even see some small hail. Like I said, we could see some small hail about 1 inch in diameter. Generally, in this area, wherever those storms first fire up, is going to be where you have that small hail threat. It definitely won't be a notable hail threat, but we can't rule out, like I said, about 1 inch in diameter hail out here. Not the worst setup I've seen. Not the worst setup. Definitely a second season setup, that's for sure. Low instability, high wind shear, overnight tornadoes, that is definitely a second season. Definitely feels like a second season setup right there. Looking at the lower level jet stream here, you can see it rapidly increases after about 2 a.m. Eastern. That lower level jet will ramp up significantly and very rapidly. We'll go from about a 45, 50 knot lower level jet all the way up to a near 70 knot lower level jet in about 6 hours. That's the difference between about 10 p.m. and about 2 a.m. And then look at that, tomorrow afternoon over Oklahoma, you're up to a 80 knot, near 80 knot lower level jet near Tulsa. But good news is you'll have like literally, no instability up there. Do want to get a sounding here from your NAM model right in that very prime environment. Make sure. Hold on. Ah, it's got rain in it. This is going to be contaminated. Very contaminated. But still pretty good sounding. I mean, your kinematics are insane. 660 surface to 3 kilometer wind shear there. 53 knots. That is crazy. And the veering is wild too. Look at that veering in the lower levels. So, kinematics are definitely not an issue. Thermodynamics are your main issue here. That's your instability, your lapse rates. Yeah, see, the NAM also has that very messy mode, the NAM 3K model. But then again, when has the NAM really ever nailed anything? I don't think the NAM 3K's really nailed anything. I've seen it nail the placement of some storms, but it's always... it always ends up being terrible in some sort. So, yeah, definitely a significant threat for damaging winds. That's definitely your main issue late tonight. That's going to be your primary threat. We could see up to 70-mile-an-hour winds in that yellow area and up to 80-mile-per-hour winds in that red hatched area. That's a 30% chance for significant damaging winds in that red area. So that includes, like I said, Wichita Falls, Vernon, Seymour, Oklahoma, or rather Texas. This is Texas, Abilene, Texas, and then go into Lawton, Oklahoma, Frederick, Oklahoma. So that's on the Texas-Oklahoma border there. I don't think they'll increase that tornado threat. If they do, I just wouldn't be surprised if they increase it to 10% or 10 sig somewhere in here. But I don't think they will. The SPC is normally conservative, so to see them go 10 sig on a setup like this, it would be pretty dang rare. It would be pretty rare, if not extremely rare, to see him go 10 sig on a setup like this. This is your lower level jet stream on your HRRR model run. And you can see it rapidly ramps up. I combined two words there. Rapidly ramps up after 3 a.m. It rapidly ramps up in that 5% chance for tornadoes. So primary threat is definitely going to be after 2 to 3 a.m. 2 to 3 a.m. that wind threat ramps up. 3 to 4 a.m. that tornado threat rapidly ramps up, and then you're peaking from about 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. That's all in Eastern. I wonder what it has for wind gust. That's your line there. Look at the HRRR 60-knot wind gust. Yeah, I highly doubt this is even close to accurate, but there's your wind gust. You could see the moisture evaction here just on your simulated wind gust. You could see how quickly those winds stream northward. Look at my area. Rip. Dude, rip Catman. Nah, actually, this is 10-meter winds, so it is a little bit higher than surface wind speeds. Catman's probably going to get like 2-mile-per-hour winds. That doesn't look like that bad of a setup, though, in Oklahoma. After 6 a.m., according to the HRRR, that's when it ramps up the quickest. Yeah, so you have that short window. There's a short window for strong tornadoes on the HRRR model. It really begins here at 6 a.m., or rather 7 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So not really too early in the morning. Not really like a 3, 4 a.m. threat. But look at that, your ingredients rapidly decrease too, so... I think your primary threat's still going to be between like 4 to 9 a.m. That's just the general timing, I'd say. and generally from about here up to the north and east. Wherever the placement of that low pressure will be is going to matter a lot. Because if that low pressure is more to the south, then your threat's going to be further to the south as well. So that general area that I have in a box right there, that's going to be where your strong tornado potential will be from about 4 a.m. Eastern to about 9 a.m. Eastern. If it goes more north, it might run out of instability, and then your tornado threat would be even lower. Right now, the HRRR depicts a near-perfect scenario for an isolated strong tornado threat. I mean, your low pressure and cold front meets up perfectly with the access of that warm nose on your instability. And that also meets perfectly with your maximized wind shear. So the HRRR really has like the worst case scenario here. And you can see it too. Look at that. About these 3 storms here, right where my cursor is. This one on the north side, the middle one, and then the southern side. HRRR has about three supercells that would end up producing the potential for strong tornadoes. I'm gonna wait for this to load. Load up, will ya? There you go. Yeah, here it is a bit closer. There you go. There you go. One very messy on the northern one, but the 2 southern ones look really good simulated here on the HRRR. Of course, it is just a simulation there. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but I mean, it is uptrending more. It is uptrending more. I appreciate you guys being here in the stream. If you are enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button and share the stream with your family, friends, social media. Help spread weather awareness. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is your risk for severe weather tonight. This is valid from 3 p.m. to 3 p.m. today. So, 3 hours ago. Valid from 3 p.m. all the way till 7 a.m. Eastern. So that's your risk there. The primary areas we're watching is inside that orange area, your enhanced risk level 3 out of 5. So that includes specifically Wichita Falls and Seymour, Texas. Those are your 2 most populated areas there. Actually, Abilene is also in there. Yeah, there you go. So about 500,000 people, right around 500,000 people are inside that enhanced risk for severe weather. Then we have about 1.7 million people inside the slight risk, and then about 5 million inside that marginal risk. So level 1, level 2, and a level 3 out of 5 threat for severe weather. Very late tonight. Like I said, storms will start popping off generally in this area here, probably around the time frame. It differs between model runs. The NAM 3K really has storms popping off closer to midnight, whereas the HRRR has it closer to like 9 p.m., 8, 9 p.m. Yeah, see, the NAM has it at a midnight. Midnight storms get going in western Texas. And the HRRR model here has storms already going about 8 p.m. 8, 9 p.m. So about a little over probably 2 hours from now. And then those storms move up to the northeast, rapidly grow upscale into a line of damaging winds. And then the threat for severe weather will peak in and around that enhanced risk for severe weather between 4 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow, it's going to be a morning threat for that slight risk of severe weather. Timing on that is going to be from about 7 to 11 or 7 to 10 Eastern time. AM, of course. 5% chance for tornadoes, 15% chance for damaging winds, and a 5% chance for isolated large hail up to an inch in diameter. We also have that very large 2% chance for tornadoes. There's 2 other areas we're watching. This area here could see a brief spin-up tornado, as well as generally this whole area down here could see a brief spin-up tornado as well. And then, of course, in the morning hours, that 5% chance too. Definitely doesn't look like a solid threat for severe weather. Tomorrow afternoon, it's really just the morning hours is your main threat. We've downtrended on that afternoon threat, thankfully. Go to your 18Z HRRR just to show you The HRRR tries to get some tornadic storms going here on the border of Texas, Louisiana, around, what is this, 5 p.m.? Yeah, about 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. HRRR tries to get some tornadic storms going, but it does not succeed. And it is a pretty good environment, according to the HRRR. It's not the worst environment. And in that northern area, that's way up here, it would be in this general vicinity here, where we have that tornado threat sparking up. You can see storms fired about 2 p.m. Eastern. Not the worst environment. And that environment does get a bit better as you go closer towards 2:33 p.m. Eastern. And we could see a spin-up tornado generally around and pointing north of the Wichita area. So, yeah, that's a pretty big 2%, though. That's a really big 2%. I don't know if it's really needed to have that large of a 2% there. That is a very big 2%. I'd be pretty surprised if we end up with much tornadic activity in this area here. I really don't think we'll see a lot of tornadic activity anywhere in this area for tomorrow. Like I said, we have the morning event here, the early afternoon event here, and then the late afternoon into the evening event here. Timing for this one's about 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. The one off your screen up here near Wichita, that's from like 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then this one in Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas generally in here, that's from about 3 p.m. till the sun sets close towards 6 or 7 Eastern. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about this severe threat, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best I can. Again, just to go over the threat on your HRRR model, your newest 22Z model run, we're going to be looking at a very low hail threat to start with. Then a tornado threat will begin to ramp up. The wind threat will rapidly ramp up as we go closer towards midnight. This is midnight right here, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Eastern. That tornado threat begins to peak around that time frame. 6 a.m. still peaking, 7 a.m. still peaking, 8 a.m. stuff begins to slowly die out. 9 a.m. your threats decreased rapidly. 10 a.m. pretty much nothing is happening other than some light rain in your risk area. Tornadoes, if we do see them form, they'll most likely be moving northeast. These storms will be moving kind of southeast. I don't think they'll really be moving like dead southeast. A little bit southeast, yeah, but these are going to be moving generally off to the southeast. In the middle, these storms are going to move east, and then our best chance for tornadoes will be on the area that moves northeastward. So where the highest chance for tornadoes will be, our storms will be moving northeast. I haven't even checked the flooding threat. They probably don't have anything higher than a slight risk out for today. Yeah, we have a big slight risk for flash flooding out. That includes Tulsa, OKC, Shawnee, Oklahoma, Norman, Clinton, Lawton, Elk City, Woodward. Goes into Lubbock, Texas, out there in Big Spring, Texas, Abilene as well as Sweetwater. Tomorrow, we do get a slight risk for flash flooding out here in southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi. We talked about that in our video. I didn't show the outlook, but in the video I talked about the flash flooding potential. That's because of the remnants of Sarah will allow for more moisture to be transported on the northern side of the Gulf of Mexico. We have that low pressure coming through, so that will allow for flooding potential tomorrow, as well as if we go into day 3, I also have that slight risk level 2 out of 4 for flash flooding in place. And then nothing on day 4. Well, other than California and Oregon. I'm going to go ahead and put the SPC Outlook back on here. There you go. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We do these live streams often, as well as videos about weekly or so. And I don't know if we'll be covering this threat for severe weather. Probably not overnight. I have a pretty good feeling I won't be up at 2 a.m. covering this risk. I mean, storms don't even get into that enhanced risk until what, like 2 a.m. Let's see. This says like 4 a.m. About 4 a.m. Gracious day. What does NATO cast have? Did NATO cast update for this threat? Oops. NATO cast. Nope. What does CSU severe have? Today, tornado probabilities, day 1. Has a decent sized 5%. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, one more thing I did want to actually check here. I wanted to check the 18Z GFS because that had an insane opportunity for a snowstorm. I could tell it was going to produce an insane run. Let's see if it actually did. Because you can see the cold air goes to the south here. You see the cold air line, your 540 line, right in here. And you'll see that push southward, and you have a trough ejection that pushes up to the northeast at the right timing. Let's see what happens. Well, the first one doesn't do a whole lot. Not as much as I thought. It does a bit of snow. What about the second one? That 540 line is more to the south. Look at it. It goes all the way into West Virginia there. Whoa. That one is definitely a lot more aggressive. Yikes. What about the... Oh my goodness. Jeez. How much snow does Iowa get, man? Oh my word. What a model run. Almost, what, 3 feet, over 3 feet of snow? Gracious day, look at that. 42 inches of snowfall in southeastern Minnesota. That's crazy. What about 24-hour snowfall? Look at that. 24-hour snowfall rates right there. That is insane. I nearly guarantee this will be gone tomorrow. But that's just a crazy run to look at. I love to look at runs like this. One of the runs, I think it was the last run, it showed me getting almost like a half foot of snow or something. Let me show you all that. Yeah, it was the 12Z. And look at that, look at that. Nope, that's a foot. I get a foot of snowfall. I'm on the edge of a foot of snowfall. It's always fun to look at these model runs really far out, see how dumb they are. Let's go back over here. Dude, talk about a nor'easter. Look at that. Ah, it doesn't even have... Nope, it does have snow. Look at that. If that cooler air went more to the southeast, that'd be a 2016 type snowstorm for me. I don't think we've had any crazy runs for Tennessee yet. Legacy. I don't think so. Let's see. Did the 18Z give you snow? Maybe barely. I think you're actually just outside that. Yeah, I think you're just outside the 18Z snowfall there. I don't think we've gotten a crazy snow run for Tennessee yet. But yeah, we're looking really far out. None of that's gonna happen in terms of snowfall in Iowa. We ain't gonna see 4 feet of snow in Iowa or Minnesota. Back to severe weather, though. This is your risk for severe weather. For tonight, we've got that level 1 marginal risk, level 2 slight risk, and the level 3 enhanced risk. Primary threat will be the potential for up to 80 mile per hour winds, or around 80 mile per hour winds in and around the Wichita Falls to Abilene, Texas area. Very late tonight. The timing for that main risk will be after or right around 4 a.m. Eastern time. You'll see the HRRR model run here. This is for 1 a.m. You'll see that line right where my cursor is. 2 a.m. That line increases in strength and size. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Your thread is peaking about 4 a.m. 5 a.m. still peaking. 6 a.m. rather still peaking. 7 a.m. peaking. 8 a.m. it starts to die out. 9 a.m. it rapidly starts to die out, and 10 a.m. it loses all its instability, and then it's just this weird squiggly line left. So that's your time frame right there. So like I said, storms will first pop off here at about, I'm going to say about 9 p.m. I don't want to say 8 p.m. HRRR says 8 p.m. NAM says about 11 p.m. midnight. So we're going to say 9, 10 p.m. tonight. We'll see these storms pop off to the south and west of Midland, Texas. 60-mile-an-hour winds, a very weak brief spin-up tornado, and hail up to an inch in diameter will be possible. Then they'll start to grow upscale towards midnight, 1 a.m. That line will form. We'll start seeing 70 to potentially 80-mile-per-hour winds after 1 a.m. Eastern, and then that threat is peaking, like I said, about 4 a.m. Eastern and on. 4 a.m. till about 9 a.m. is your peak severe threat. Really good outlook from the SPC, though. That's a really, really good SPC outlook. That's slight risk and enhanced risk. I don't really think we'll see much changes overnight to their risk. Like I said, we do have model support that says a significant tornado can't be completely ruled out in this area. They show strong tornado potential generally in this region, but I don't think it's high enough support to where the SPC will introduce a 10 sig risk. Because all it takes is a little bit more thunderstorm activity, and then boom, it's a very messy line, and you don't end up with, any strong tornado potential. Let me go check here. So we'll keep watching it. I'll definitely be up for the threat first popping off, but I don't think I'll be up for the main threat around 4 a.m. And I don't think I'll be streaming at any time after we close this out. I don't think it's going to be a good enough threat to the point where I'm going to stay up for it. I don't know, though. It could easily go pretty big southwest of Wichita or around Wichita Falls. If we get those discrete storms to form, or semi-discrete storms to form, definitely possible. But, yeah, honestly, I don't even know when we'll be live next, because I really don't think there's going to be anything worth a live stream tomorrow. The threat downtrended. And I really don't think there's going to be enough to talk about for that snowstorm. Not enough for us to do a briefing on it. Maybe coverage. I'm thinking about doing coverage on it. We'll see how that goes. So, I don't know. We're just going to watch and wait. What the heck? What? Is this the... Whoa. The GFS gives snow to Wichita Falls near the end of its loop here. Can I show this on Radar Omega? Is this gonna be... I think it will be able to reach. Let's see if it reaches. Yep. Well, no, it doesn't. It should reach. What frame is it? 354? Ah, 2 more frames. We need 2 more frames. But that's crazy. That shows you how insane the GFS is. It gives snow to Texas. Like central Texas. All the way out here towards Big Springs. Hello, gaming. Glad to see you in here. Stay safe, Jared. Just make sure you have a weather radio on. Keep it plugged in, batteries in it overnight. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings tonight. That's another thing real quick. If you're in this risk, the yellow or the orange here, make sure your phone's charged. Make sure your weather radio is plugged in and batteries are in it. Unless you plan on staying up completely overnight, you definitely want to make sure you have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings and a way to wake up once if a warning is issued for your area. Yeah, I don't think we'll see a big prefrontal threat at all. I really don't. The only thing I'm really worried about is these storms becoming semi-discrete as the line falls apart towards about 4, 5 a.m. And then from there on out, they stay semi-discrete for the next 3 to 4 hours and produce, potentially strong tornadoes along that track there. But hopefully we'll see a big downtrend overnight. It's definitely a very real possibility. Regardless, though, 80-mile-per-hour winds are definitely going to be possible in that enhanced risk. Yeah, messy mode is definitely what's going to end up getting rid of the strong tornado chance. I do see some prefrontals here. Look at this, though, at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Eastern. The HRRR does have a little bit of prefrontal action there. Right over Caden's house. Those are very miniature supercells, though. I don't know if those would actually be able to do anything. I mean, there's not much stopping them. They probably would be able to. There you go. About 500. Depends on where you're looking at, but near Fort Worth, it's about 500 to 600 at 2 a.m. For this setup, anything at or above 500 is definitely doable for a tornado threat. Which you can see most of our enhanced risk is going to be above 500 after 4 a.m. And then look at this, at 11, 10 a.m., that instability rapidly falls apart. I think 300 Cape's enough. Maybe for a small tornado threat, but if we're talking about a potential strong tornado threat, we're definitely going to need 500 plus. But yeah, that's your weather update. I don't really think we need to stay on here longer than an hour. I'll probably be up till about midnight, 1 a.m. tonight, so we'll see how the weather looks like around that time frame. But I don't plan on covering this overnight. I don't plan on it. I just feel like it's gonna be way too messy. This is how it's gonna go. If I wake up at 4 a.m., if I wake up at 3, 4 a.m., the severe threat's gonna do nothing. If I sleep through it, we're probably gonna have something big that I miss. I don't stay longer because I don't feel like a discussion longer than an hour is needed. But, I mean, if we're doing weather coverage, I mean, we've stayed up to 15, 16 hours, so. But, I mean, that's all the information. I mean, we went through the new HRRR, all the outlooks, so. The TRG effect. Yep. It's totally proven. It is totally proven. I do want to check one more thing here. Let's see here. NAM 3K for the southeast. Today's Sunday, so that would be Tuesday, right? Yeah. I don't see much of a tornado threat there. But you can see, look at that. That's the remnants of Sarah. The remnants of Sarah gets a good low pressure going right in here on the NAM 3K. But it is the NAM 3K, which is a convective allowing model, which means you should not use it for tropics. Now, the normal NAM model is slightly better, and you can see that doesn't have much of a low pressure forming. Wake up at 4 a.m. I don't think I've ever tracked at 4 a.m. I do remember we went live for a PDS warning around 2:30 a.m. Because I was up with Lucky. I was up with Lucky, and at 2 a.m. I was like, okay, I'm going Lucky. And then I got off. I checked my phone at 2:30, and Lucky was blowing up my phone saying there was a PDS warning. I do remember covering a warning at like 2:30 a.m. But we're gonna have to do an all-nighter stream eventually. We're gonna have to do an overnight severe weather threat live stream eventually at some point. That's something that's on my list of things to do before we start doing full-time storm chasing. What if I stay up all night? Like I said, it's not that big of a risk. It's a 5% chance for tornadoes. If it was a 45 sig tour, I'd stay up. It's going to have to be a 45 sig tour. Yeah, the Oklahoma City tornadoes overnight, those were really bad. Now that threat, I'm trying to remember. I think I talked about it being a possibility for a brief spin-up tornado or two, but it wasn't expected to be that notable until it significantly uptrended very early that morning. So, yeah, I completely slept through that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it quits here. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. We're one away from the like goal. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll be live at some point in the next year. I could guarantee a live stream in the next year. Well, whenever there's a big threat, we'll come back on here. Whenever I start seeing something notable to talk about on the models, we'll come back on here. That might be as soon as like Wednesday or Tuesday. If I don't, then I'm gonna have a video. I want to do videos more in winter. I like to do videos more in winter because we could do quick 8-minute videos about the smaller winter storm threats. So I'm the only one live. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I'm sure we'll see some people start up their streams late. I know the Weed Whacker's going live at 4 a.m. So if you're subscribed to the one and only Weed Whacker Reed Timmer, you could go watch him at 4 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Central. Dude's a crazy man. He is crazy dedicated to storm chasing. Is the sun up at 4 a.m. Eastern? I don't think I've ever been up at 4 a.m. Eastern. Like, I don't think I've ever woken up at 4 a.m. Eastern and looked out my window to see if the sun's up. But alright. 7? Oh yeah, heck no. Yeah. If it gets up at 7, if the sun gets up at 7 Central, that can't be right. Look this up. It's at like 6:30 here. Catman, your son's getting up at like... Oh, I can't do math. Your son's probably up about 6, dude. 6:30 the sun's up over here. I was gonna say, there's no way it takes all the way till 8 a.m. for the sun to get up. Not this time of year, at least. But alright, y'all. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you guys stay weather aware, especially in that risk area. And like I said, I'm of course gonna be up for a couple more hours, so I'll still keep an eye on the threat. If it significantly overperforms whilst I'm up, maybe we'll start up another stream, but I highly doubt it. I really don't know when the next live stream will be. I'll just be here when I'm here, okay? Okay. You know I'll be here when there's another big threat. I'm not going to miss a good risk for severe weather, especially second season. I'm not looking forward, though, to second season. The 3, 4 a.m. risks, it's just the beginning. This is just the beginning. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was a little short. We do have a video up, a video with mostly up-to-date information. You know, we did have that enhanced risk added, but you're very welcome to go watch that video. I talked about everything I talked about in this live stream in that video. So yeah, you could also just watch the first 20 minutes of this live stream. That will give you the most up-to-date information as well. So Northwestern Arkansas, oh, you guys are good. Your threat will be probably at 1 p.m. Central tomorrow. A brief tornado can't be fully ruled out, but I highly doubt you guys will see much more than rain out there. So yeah, thank you mods for mod chat. Thank you absolutely everybody for being here. If you can hit that like button on the way out, subscribe to the channel. We'll be live at some point, like I said, eventually. Thankfully, after today's risk and early tomorrow's risk, it looks like we're going in a little bit of an inactive pattern for a couple days. We do have that snowstorm potential at the end of this week. If we have another live stream, that's definitely where it's going to be. It will definitely be towards the Wednesday time frame, towards the end of this week. So yeah, we should have a video out. Hopefully I'll have a video out sometime before then. I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest with y'all. I really don't. But anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully we'll have a bit more of an inactive pattern to close out November. And have a great rest of your night. Stay safe. Watch severe weather, the tropics, and the snowfall. Goodbye.
See you later, brothers.
Dang, Misty, where do you live? 5 a.m. The sun rises. Stay safe. Have a great rest of y'all's night. Goodbye.